Democrat Senator John Fetterman slams his own party for losing touch with their base, suggesting that they have to turn the temperature down when it comes to language, something that we know many Democrats aren't capable of doing when it comes to President Trump. And CNN finally admits the truth about the late Charlie Kirk. If you got a lot to talk about real quick, make sure to like this video and subscribe to keep yourselves informed about what's truly happening around us. Senator John Fetterman has shown more common sense than at least 90% of the Democrats that we see in Congress. He's also one of the lone government officials who said that instead of fighting against the Trump administration, their party should try working with them, a statement that has put him at odds with many within the left.
And I think we can't just be, well, Trump is always wrong, or that we're going to set the country on fire or whatever. That's just not true either, of course. But, you know, when I represent a state like Pennsylvania, that keeps you honest. And you always can't forget that a lot of Americans happen to disagree with you. That does not mean that they are fascists or now they want to shred the Constitution.
Fetterman also called out his own party for continuing to call President Trump as Hitler, with Democrat leaders insisting that this is not to incite violence against the right, even though they're aware that we lost a highly respected conservative just recently due to such language.
Now, last night, for example, people were complaining. They were protesting about, oh, that's the Hitler thing. You just don't ever compare anyone to Hitler and those kinds of extreme things. And now look what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, you know, the man was shot. Now we have to turn the temperature down. It's like we can't compare people to these kinds of figures in history. And this is not an autocrat. This is a product of a democratic election.
Many of us should applaud Senator Fetterman's open mind. This isn't the time for Democrats to use language that could further influence violence against Republicans, but I guess that's just how far left liberals roll. Listen to this musician who lies through his teeth saying that they didn't celebrate Charlie Kirk's death.
Quick, at no point during yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk's death celebrated.
The pronouns were.
If it was, go find me a quote, go find me something that proves that we were celebrating his death. You're not going to find it, because it didn't happen.
Because if you touch you will get banned! Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of
It's crazy to see and hear how people can lie like this, but I guess Democrats really follow their leaders. Just listen to how Jasmine Crockett incites violence yet again against ICE agents.
But as somebody who understands history, when I see ICE, I see slave patrols. Now, I never lived through the slave patrol period, but if you know the history of policing in this country, then you understand that they were born out of slave patrols. And now with the Supreme Court saying this, it's almost like you can just go grab them up. That is what they're saying. And that is a problem. We all should have a problem with that. But when you don't want to teach American history that includes Black history, then you lose out on the benefit of understanding that we have been down this road before.
They can deny all they want, but their violent rhetoric has been exposed to a point where even CNN admits to the truth. Listen to Harry Enton discussing the great impact that Charlie Kirk had in last year's presidential election.
That one of his main missions was to engage with and bring younger folks over to the conservative side of the aisle. And based upon the results of the last presidential election, I think we can say he was quite successful in doing so. What are we talking about? Well, let's take a look at 18 to 24-year-olds who voted for Donald Trump. That is, voters under the age of 25. Look at this. In 2016, it was just 34%. Jump ahead to 2020, it was just 31%. But look in this past presidential election in 2024. Donald Trump's percentage of voters under the age of 25 jumped all the way up to 43% of the vote. Indeed, when you compare his percentage of the vote with that of Kamala Harris's, and we look at the margin, we can say that Trump had the best performance for any Republican nominee for president this entire century among voters under the age of 25. Now, when we dig into the numbers a little bit deeper, we can see even more of the influence of Charlie Kirk. What are we talking about? Well, let's take a look at males under the age of 25. That is age 18 to 24-year-old males, presidential margin. You go back to 2016, Hillary Clinton easily won that vote by 11 points. You jump ahead to 2020, you can see Joe Biden nearly doubled Clinton's margin, won it by an even larger margin. Look at this, a 20-point win for Joe Biden. But look at this past presidential election. Donald Trump actually won males under the age of 25. He won them by 3 points, and in doing so became the first Republican nominee for president to win males under the age of 25 this entire century. Now, one of the reasons that Donald Trump was so successful among younger voters was because of advice given to him by Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk said, bypass the traditional media, go straight on the podcast, talk to younger voters where they are.
Democrats would have you believe that political violence is a problem on both sides, even though we've seen a majority of violence done against the right, which led President Trump to say this.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
What do you guys make of all this? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to share this video to everyone you know and subscribe to keep yourself informed. Thank you for watching. Talk to you in the next one.